Back with more Walking Dead. This is episode 10 of season 11. Very excited, as always, to carry on. We are into the second part of the final season now, second of 3, and this is the second episode of the next 8. And I think we had a really strong start to this second part of the season. Somewhat of a resolution, maybe, to the majority of the stuff with the Reapers. Leah's gone off, obviously, so I'm sure we'll see her again at some point. But I think the main chunk of that threat's probably now dealt with, I would assume, especially given how things ended off with the stormtroopers of the Commonwealth showing up. And then we got like the flash forward to 6 months later, I think. And Daryl's kind of, one of the soldiers there now, so I'm sure that's going to be explored, like how he ended up there, why he ended up there. There's probably going to be more to it than it may appear. Or we're having a civil war amongst some of our favourites. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, I'm very excited to see what new direction we're going to take. Seeing these big stories finally coming together and seeing a lot more characters kind of be brought into the Commonwealth story. It feels like now, okay, we're building up to the end game, because this is probably, the last big community we're going to meet now in the show. So I'm excited to see where we go with it next and what they're going to be focusing on in this episode. So yeah, let's just get right into it.
Oh man, that's enough. Okay, no problem.
Oh, okay. I was like, did I miss an episode? What? I feel like that's a very responsible thing to take the kids to, but I suppose it shows the disassociation between this place and the real world. He's a tiger! And Carol's baking cookies. Here we go again. At least it's not fucking soup. I mean, handing out free candy and stuff, like, huge child catcher energy from her.
Dressed as our very own Mercer, Celeste!
That's hilarious. I love that I just gasped whenever Connie's on screen.
Connie's reporter for the paper. We've got a full day.
Oh my god.
Should ask her to dance.
Yes, you should.
Thanks for watching.
Uh-oh.
Nothing I love more, but I gotta take care of these little guys.
Us too.
He's running a little zoo again.
Okay,
Aww.
thank you for letting us shoot his collar on 2 conditions. 1, that it always makes you as happy as it made. And 2, that you honor Shiva's memory.
Aww.
Always think about it.
I love Ezekiel. He's great. See, I don't trust little bits of happiness like this, because they just take it away.
On a beautiful day like today, never better.
And yet I smile.
Oh, gosh. So sorry, I'm such a klutz.
Carol. He knows the odds aren't good. But he doesn't know there's likely no chance he'll get the surgery unless, by some miracle, he moves up the line.
Oh god.
I'm sorry.
I mean, that's awful in itself, but what is she going to do?
What if I go with Espinosa? We'll make a good team. Good ask for your opinion.
It's like when they want you to work in groups at school, and you're like, you just want to go with your friends. Doesn't even need the knife. Jesus!
You have to get this. It's so good. Honey. Oh. Did you get an allowance?
Hey,
Not yet.
friend you.
Oh my god.
Yes?
Okay.
You didn't have to.
It's a gift.
Aww.
Friend.
Aw, that's sweet.
Can I have the receipt?
She's gonna die, isn't she? Oh god, no! Physically pains me to see wine wasted.
Careful, though.
This toothpick? Not worth my time. Why did you do that?
Don't know either, to be fair. It.
Daryl,
Yeah.
can I get an allowance?
Oh.
Can we wait a little while till we drop service? Talk about it.
Daryl's like, oh my god, I'm a parent.
I think as long as my mom knows where to find us, I want to stay.
Wine to bump Ezekiel up the list.
Want some wine? We hear it's really
I enjoyed Magna's 11th Doctor cosplay.
What's wrong?
Yeah, he was all shaky. Jesus. Guy's such a prick.
He hates you.
Whoops.
It's not my thing.
Oh, it is. Trust me.
Join me?
I would be honored.
Aww. I ship it.
There's a dress code.
That dress code is fuck you, I think.
We need to get a meeting on the books about this Alexander. I have questions.
I have a pitch.
I'm sure you do.
Oh dear.
What would your father say about the class that on display? Well, we're lucky you found this.
Hmm.
It's our first masquerade ball. If you'll excuse me.
Sir? Creepy person.
Excuse me, I'm sorry.
Is that the soldier that Princess beat up?
I have saved many. Yeah, I kicked his ass.
Oh, yes, it is.
The governor of the Commonwealth, Miss Pamela Milton.
Imagine the governor walks out. Oh! Plot twist. Wow. A man.
It took Miss Park 9 months to lovingly create this painting.
This is bullshit.
Sir, that's
Does anyone here really believe the Commonwealth cares for all its citizens? Do you know who I am?
Sir, this isn't the
Oh dear.
Please, you need to stop.
Don't come any closer. This is what you care about. Fancy parties and paintings.
Oh! 9 months. Oh dear.
Like,
We hurt you?
I'm okay. I'm okay.
Wow.
just gonna stand there? Go after him!
Alright. I mean, I don't think the guy's wrong. He just went about that in the wrong way.
Just wanted to talk to her. To get her to understand.
I mean, you talked to her, so...
It's never gonna happen. I screwed up protocols. With a prisoner, I got beat up. Lost my apartment, my spending card. I have no
Yeah.
way to help my sister or kids.
Oh, Christ.
This sister. Means you got family.
Oh, I feel like they're just going to kill him anyway.
Fuck bastard.
And you knew where to come.
Did something right.
Let you go. What? Taking your mom.
Well done, Sebastian.
Thousands more like me. Resist the Commonwealth! Visibility for workers!
Are there thousands more?
No.
Probably.
Make sure.
Inside, please, miss. Let's go.
Oh.
It was a good first step.
What's next?
I'm glad you asked.
For what it's worth, I believe it.
I don't doubt
This
that.
place is like a city from before.
You would have loved it.
Oh. Although, the last, fair thing they threw didn't particularly go well for Henry, did it?
Painful. This belongs to you.
Oh.
Were you rude?
It's great. Still finding reasons to smile.
Oh. God.
Yes!
Ah, is it to play her record on? Wholesome. Oh. There is a revolution going on. Okay, I really enjoyed this episode. I've always mentioned quite often, I think, that I really enjoy the episodes that kind of just spend time in the community and introduce it properly. I think Walk With Me in Series 3, when we kind of properly were introduced to Woodbury and the Governor and everything, I really enjoyed those kind of episodes. And this was certainly that, properly seeing how the Commonwealth worked. And I think framing it from a point we're starting the episode off, they've already been there for a month, I think was a cool way. It's not just okay, we're doing this again, reintroducing this and this, and they're kind of already been thrown into it, and therefore, as an audience, we're thrown into it as well. And it's not okay, we're same old structure for reintroducing a place or introducing a new settlement into The Walking Dead. It's well, this is just how it's been for so long now. You need to get used to it just as the characters still are. So I thought that was a clever way of making it slightly different. And the idea of there seems to be a sort of revolution kind of building up to overthrow. I think her name is Pamela. Pamela Milton. Is the, head in, leader in charge, whatever. That lady. Who had the 9-month taking of portrait of her father that was immediately ruined. And there seems to be that kind of uprising happening, and it seems like that was brewing even before Daryl and all those guys even arrived, which again is something different, because normally they incite those kind of revolutions, like when, Rick kind of led the revolution over Negan and the Saviors and stuff. So the fact that they didn't necessarily incite it, some of them may have joined in secret. Magna very well could have, helped Tyler kind of, set up to do what he did, for all we know. I wouldn't put it past her, let's be frank. I mean, she was at Alexandria for 5 minutes, and then she started stealing their food and hiding it in the truck. So it's not, it wouldn't be completely out of character for to do something like that. But the fact that they then really focused on that makes me think it probably wasn't her who helped Tyler out. But I think it's kind of refreshing that some things are potentially already going wrong with the structure of this place, with the Commonwealth, before, the heroes that we've been following for 11 seasons showed up and kind of instigated it. They might move things along, but it feels like stuff was already happening even before their presence was kind of there, which is nice that it's not just them yet again kind of leading a revolution. But one is happening nonetheless, and I'm intrigued to see exactly who's going to be behind that and what that's all going to mean, what that's going to lead to. Because, Pamela seems to enjoy being in charge. It feels very much, they're the head honcho family that everyone respects. And then it's just everyone else, and she's not, really all that caring for him. And she just instead of giving Tyler what he wants, hearing him out and being, oh, I love everyone equally, even though she clearly doesn't, because, not everyone could get into that party. She just didn't really regard what he wanted when they captured him back. She's they brought him back just for her to go, oh, and now get rid of him, just so she could say, get rid of him, basically. So I think there's a lot of ego there and a lot of, power hungriness there with Pamela. And Sebastian, who I do believe is her son, the prick, who's a prick to Daryl, and who Daryl kind of let take credit for capturing him and everything. I don't know if that was just a way of Daryl trying to get in Sebastian's good books and maybe build some bridges there. Maybe just because he can't be asked with someone else who hates him, would try and patch it up, or just to shut him up for a bit. I don't know. But that whole deal, they seem to very much want to cling on to the power that they have and pretend like it's a real nice democracy and stuff. When I feel like the opposite's happening. And she was like determined to find out if there's any other people like Tyler in there. Are there thousands of them? Let's make sure you find out and everything. She has a lot of people kind of doing anything they can to please her. Lance is one of them, obviously, with the wine and stuff. So I feel like, I don't know if it's quite a dictatorship or anything, but it feels like it could be headed in that direction. That's how they're kind of presenting it as, and maybe getting rid of that lot could then build the future that everyone could then settle down in and have as like the end of the show. This could be the place that they settle, but where people actually are equal, and it's not like a class divide and stuff like Connie was kind of confronting Pamela about. Connie, they seem to have a history, Pamela and Connie. They seem to have known each other before, which I think is cool. And Connie got one of her relatives thrown out of Congress or something. So I like that there's a bit of history there. So clearly, and Connie made it, very much aware, like she knows what this woman is like, and therefore we now know because we trust Connie because she's the best. So yeah, there's going to be some kind of going on there, and I'm sure maybe getting rid of that family and changing the order up a bit of how the Commonwealth is run could be like our end goal for the show, perhaps. We'll have to wait and see. But then we also have everything going on with like the flash forward. So this is like, we're now 1 month into the 6 months later when we saw Daryl show up with Maggie at the end of the last episode. So we still have another 5 months until that confrontation. So what's all that building towards? Obviously there's still stormtroopers around then at the very least. So how's that all going to play out? How they're going to fill in those gaps further, and how all things escalate. There's a lot to it, but I am intrigued by how it's going to play out with that. So yeah, that was all interesting. And I do like Daryl and Rosita, trying to train to be soldiers and stuff. I've always enjoyed the Daryl and Rosita dynamic. I think they are a very good team, like Daryl was kind of saying. So to see them kind of training up to be stormtroopers themselves, an interesting kind of sets of tasks ahead of them trying to move up the ranks. And Mercer in charge of that. I really like Mercer. There's something about him that I think is quite good. I do think he is a good, respectful man. I wouldn't be surprised if he would be willing to see that Pamela maybe isn't the ideal leader, I would assume. His kind of the spark he has with Princess, I really like those two together. I think that's a very quirky, unexpected pairing that blossomed, and I actually do quite enjoy it. She definitely softens him a bit. I feel like he could allow her to he could ground her a lot, and I think she could allow him to have a bit of fun every now and again. He's like, oh, I don't enjoy these kind of things, let's have some fun if you kind of join me for the party. And then the party did take a turn, granted, with Tyler's whole deal, but he would have had a good time with Princess regardless, I'm sure. So I really like that pairing, and I think getting more of a glimpse of Mercer as a character, did in the world of good. I do think he respects what Daryl's doing, and Daryl's past, where he came from. He understands that Daryl was used to kind of sometimes just going it alone, and Daryl's very much stepped into the leader role since Rick died. So he's very much used to that, and I like that he understands that. And I think, he knew clear as day that Daryl was the one who caught Tyler, not Sebastian. I think he gave him like a little look like, okay, I see what's really going on here. And then, Daryl got the stormtrooper armor and stuff. So he clearly kind of sees that Daryl is right for this place. And Daryl and Rosita seem to get some hints about, the revolution and Pamela's shadiness, perhaps. So yeah, I like seeing a bit more of, characters like that, like Mercer and Sebastian. We saw him again. I think we saw him briefly I think he was in an episode of the first part of the season, and I remember being like, I want to punch you in the face. That's still very much the case. You know, he's just a spoiled brat, basically. He's clearly just gotten used to this life, and it's got into his head a bit, or maybe he's just always been a bit of a prick. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, that family seems a bit very like, we're better than the rest of you. And I'm not sure how they're going to kind of last if things take hold. You know, it's not even necessarily the walkers they need to be scared of. Maybe it's the people that they're kind of holding in their own little settlement, I suppose. And yeah, Sebastian with like his teasing of Daryl being like, oh, I'm the bigger man, oh, I'm going to adjust your tie and smile at you because I'm a smarmy git. Then him just absolutely failing to take out one of those walkers. Which, to be fair, a lot of the characters just do sometimes. You know, even Carol in this one struggled to take out a walker, and sometimes she's just flawlessly killing them all. You know, it's just a kind of a script thing, isn't it? It's just inconsistency and some tension, I guess. But you just get the sense Sebastian thinks he's better than he is. He's a bit too big for his boots. He's very up himself, and that's probably going to be his downfall ultimately. But he's one of those characters. You know, when you see him, oh, you're one of those characters who's just there to piss people off and piss the audience off. So hopefully he dies painfully soon. That'd be lovely. Such a psychotic thing to say, but that's what The Walking Dead's done to me. So yeah, just seeing like the key players in the Commonwealth, and seeing what their role in things are. Lance as well. When we first met him, he seemed like he was like a proper big speaker for the Commonwealth. To an extent, I think he is. But I think this episode really shows that he doesn't go as high up as you might think, or, you know, I don't think Pamela's impressed with him at all, really, and he's so desperate to impress her. He's so desperate, I think, to be loved by the people, but, you know, the people loved Mercer. You know, he thought they were applauding him as he walked up, but it was Mercer right behind him. So he's kind of desperate there to kind of impress Pamela any way he can. I wouldn't be surprised if maybe he joins the Revolution side eventually. So he's like, oh, if you can't see how great I am, then we're going to overthrow you. Maybe he's already part of it, who knows. But yeah, just seeing some of those key players I think was an interesting thing to finally do, because, you know, we've seen bits and pieces of them for a while. I don't think we've met Pamela until this episode. I can't remember seeing her before, but obviously we've seen Lance a few times, we've seen Sebastian, and we've seen Mercer, so, you know, beefing out those characters a bit in this place that we're obviously going to be spending probably the rest of the show in. It was great that this episode took time to do that, and also had some lovely stuff surrounding it. So some nice character interactions and everything. You know, seeing Jerry dressed as a tiger and Ezekiel giving Shiva's collar to Jerry's son. That was all very wholesome. Judith making a friend and getting given a record, and Daryl buying her the player for it. You know, just you get to see them finally getting to have a childhood, which is really nice as well. Judith willing to stay at the Commonwealth because she likes it. RJ likes it as well. And Judith wants to stay as long as Michonne knows how to find them. God, I hope we see Michonne again before the end of the show, and Rick, obviously. But we'll see what happens. There's plenty of time for that. Although I think they're filming the finale right now. I think they're filming the last episode right now. So maybe we will see bits and pieces kind of leak out from sets and stuff. There are a lot of rumours, obviously, of who might be popping up, but who knows if any of them are true. But yeah, I enjoyed that side of things as well. Just having a few, you know, neat little moments like that were great. And seeing what a lot of the, you know, our heroes' roles are, really. You know, Cal seems to like work at a bakery or whatever. They've got Magna working at the bar. They've got Yumiko being like the lawyer again, which we kind of saw her find that role earlier in this season. Rosie Twin Towers, the soldiers, all of that kind of stuff. Ezekiel running a little petting zoo at like the Halloween kind of market thing they were having. Wholesome. I love that little reference as well. And yeah, him just mentioning Shiva. Oh, I missed that tiger. So yeah, that was all great. And then, you know, I think the real heart of it in this particular episode was definitely the Carol and Ezekiel kind of thing. Revisiting that, I love those two together. I really do. But they are setting up Ezekiel's death, I think. I don't know if it's going to be one of those things where, you know, she gets in the operation and then he gets eaten by a walker anyway or something, you know, like the tragic kind of spins up and like that. But, you know, this episode felt both like a proper finality to that relationship with them. The fact that he gave her Henry's box of stuff and stuff, it's almost like, you know, I may not be around much longer, so make sure that you have this, you know, make sure nothing bad happens to it and it doesn't go missing or anything when I'm gone. And even though he seems to be unaware just how far back in the waiting list he is, and I liked Carol being so concerned that she investigates all of that and then finds some wine to try and, you know, boost him up a bit. So it seems she's going to need to keep pushing Lance to actually help her out there, and he's going to probably just keep asking for more and more stuff from her before she's like, listen, bitch, you know, enough's enough, as Carol often does. I generally like, if this was like season 4 Carol, season 4 or 5 Carol, like, oh, waiting list is there, and she'd just go around fucking killing everyone on the waiting list, you know. So I like that she's kind of simmered down from that stage, because that wasn't great. You know, Rick sent her away during that for a reason. But yeah, that was a really like lovely moment between them at the end, that last scene. Just seeing Carol quite torn up over what may or may not happen to Ezekiel in the end. The fact that, you know, as things currently stand, he doesn't have enough time to get the surgery before, you know, it kills him. That was all really quite sad. But at the same time, when they're like toasting to new beginnings and stuff and being a fresh start here, it's almost like, is that a chance for those two to like have a fresh start and start again, away from the pain of, you know, the kingdom and everything that's all long gone now, and those memories of what happened to Henry and everything. You know, everyone who died at, you know, the fair when Alpha killed them all. So it could go either way with that, but I like that they took the time to honour that pairing, if that is like a wrapping up of it, or if that's a tease that maybe things can work out ultimately again and they can try again. I thought that was really lovely scenes between the two of them. I think the actors just work so well together. It's such a, you know, different pairing. When you think of how when they first met and stuff in season 7, he was like the first person to like show the real Ezekiel to her. You know, he was like, I'm the king, and he was doing all this like proud proclamations and stuff and these big speeches, and then he actually just became the man Ezekiel when he talked to her alone near the end of that episode when we first met him. So it's a very special, like a special, unique bond that those two share, and I'm glad they took some time to kind of celebrate that, whether it's for the last time or not in this episode. So I really enjoyed, you know, that kind of bonding that they had, and Carol's little mission to try and help him out in any way she can. That was lovely. Quite emotional, but yeah, they're going to need to start wrapping things up, aren't they, at the end of the day, because it's coming to an end, mad. So yeah, I feel like those are like the proper emotional, you know, sequences of the episode, and then the rest of it was very like plot, because we have to introduce the Commonwealth properly and see how it all works there, and, you know, big revolution storyline to set up apparently, and then yeah, however they're going to fit Maggie and wherever Negan's gone off to, how that's all going to tie back into it eventually, we will have to wait and see. But there's still plenty of time, you know, we're literally not even halfway through the season yet, given that we're getting 24 episodes this season, so you know, we're nearly there, but still, that was, yeah, it was cool to just have a bit of a breather episode in a way, while also, you know, having some big things happen, but you're like, okay, I know where the story's going now. It felt like this is the buckle up, folks episode, like, this is where we're going with this, watch all the chaos unfold. So yeah, everything with Tyler, you know, a bit of drama injected into it. I like they actually revisited that, because obviously he was in one of the bonus episodes, he was in Princess's episode at the end of season 10, when we kind of find out what's going on with her, and, you know, the fact that she was getting these visions of her friends, and she's actually the one beating him up when she didn't think she was, and just seeing what happened to him after that, the fact that because of that, you know, he got his life kind of taken away, and then he couldn't support some of his family because he didn't have his privileges anymore, and then he kind of just felt sort of forgotten and, you know, dumped like trash really, and he didn't feel like he was being seen or heard, and that's obviously building up to some kind of thing in the future. But I like that they revisited that, and I'm hoping maybe we take some time. I don't know if they've just taken away, you know, I don't know if we're never going to see that Tyler guy again now, and they've just gone off and killed him or something. I wouldn't be surprised. It seems like that could be something Pamela would want to do. But I'm kind of hoping we do see more of him, because I would like scene with him and Princess. I'm sure Princess must feel some sort of responsibility for what happened to Tyler and why he ended up being put in this position. Obviously, he went about this completely the wrong way, threatening this innocent woman's life and everything. So I'm not kind of saying he was 100% in the right. But I do think, you know, his message is correct. It would seem to be the case, like Magna was saying. But yeah, I hope they address like Princess's role in that, and you know, properly address some of, you know, the revelations about Princess's character in that solo episode she had last season. It'd be cool to maybe find some resolution to that, because I don't know if Tyler properly blames her for it, or the blame is solely on Pamela. But it'd be cool if she like maybe tries to help him because she feels bad about it. That'd be quite something, but you know, there's plenty of time to do that if they're going to, and it would be a shame if they don't, so we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, fantastic episode again. I really enjoyed getting to know the Commonwealth, getting some hints of where potential, you know, dynamics and relationships can go, where the whole Commonwealth story may lead ultimately as well, given the teasers we already had in the last episode. Probably spending some time with some key Commonwealth characters and seeing exactly what their place in like the hierarchy that's already been established is. All of that, very good stuff, and seeing, you know, some of the main characters and where their places are in the Commonwealth right now, who's decided to stay, who's decided to not kind of delve into there yet. So yeah, I'm excited to learn a bit more of that, and to obviously catch up with everyone else, seeing what they've been doing in the month since all these people moved into the Commonwealth. Should be exciting to see where the season goes from there. But yeah, great episode yet again. I'm excited to see where they're going to continue with all of this in future. And I guess we will find that out next week. So that's going to be everything for now. And until my next reaction, thanks for watching.